guys, this is Stefan from Rocket Rescue, and today I will explain you how the game works. Rocket Rescue is a game for 3 to 5 players. It takes around 60 to 90 minutes and it's a dice placement strategy game. In Rocket Rescue, Earth is coming to an end. You have to research new technologies, build new modules from resources that are rapidly diminishing, to build up large rockets either by yourself or collaborating with others to try and rescue your crew as fast as on to faraway planets. Whoever can get their crew on these planets fastest wins the game. And now I'll show you how that works. Now I'm going to explain you the setup of the game. On this table it's now set up for 4 players. First, you put down the main board in the middle of the table. Next, you place the 3 resource types onto the main board. For a 3-player game, it's 10 resources of each kind. For a 4-player game, 12, and for a 5-player game, 14 resources of each kind. The rest of the resources you place into a general supply pile on the side of the board. Also in the general supply you place all the victory tokens and all the energy markers. Next, you put down the player boards. On each player board you put 4 dice of the same color. Also you pick a color, in this case green, and place down all the player markers of that color and crew members according to your desired length of the game. For a short game, you pick 10 crew members, for a medium length game, 12 crew members, and for a long game, 14 crew members. Also, each player gets starting resources of 4 energy tokens and 2 resource cubes of each kind. Next, you shuffle the advanced module cards and put them face down onto the draw pile. Next, you take the the standard module cards, which are indicated by an S in the upper left corner, sort them by color and place them into the market area. Next, you place the planet cards. There is red and blue planet cards. You place them both into their respective draw areas. Then you reveal 3 blue planet cards and 2 red planet cards. Lastly, each player gets a player screen that you put around their player board. And a round indicator goes on round number 1. That is the setup for 1 game of Rocket Rescue. After the setup of the game is done, I will now give you a short overview on how the game plays. The goal of the game is to be the first one to get all your crew members onto one of these planets. Whoever manages to bring their crew members first onto a planet, will trigger the game end, and then a final scoring is calculated. How the game plays is that you have 5 phases that you go through each round. In the first phase, behind the player screen, you can set your dice to any value you'd like and place them onto one of the phases onto the board. Then the screen gets revealed and the dice get resolved in the phase order. In the research phase, you research new modules from this area to put them into your beside your board. In the purchase phase, you get new resources from the main board to also put into your play area. And in the boarding phase, if there's already any modules in the hangar built, you can board your crew members into that area. In the building and launch phase, you first build new modules that you have researched before by paying the resource cost, and also launch complete rockets to one of these planets by spending the required amount of energy to do so. And that is how one round of rocket rescue plays. I will now explain all the phases one by one by going through one sample round of rocket rescue. The first phase is the planning phase. There you can set your 4 dice to any value you would like. You don't have to roll the dice. A high die means you get to go before the others, and also you have a stronger effect in that phase, but also it costs more. A lower die, you earn energy tokens, but also your effect is weaker in that phase. I will explain it here on this board. For example, you can choose to go twice in one phase and skip one phase entirely in that round. Or you could also do one each, or choose basically any of these 8 locations. You can place the 4 dice. Also, you can bid for the starting player token. By having the starting player token, you resolve all ties in your favor. To do so, you place the energy tokens into the planning area here from your general supply. After everyone has set their dice simultaneously, you reveal the dice by lifting the player screens. Then at first you have to pay the energy amount that you owe. To calculate this, you add up all the face values of your dice and subtract 12, the number 12 from it. If you have placed more than the number 12 as face up dice values, you owe that amount of energy to the general supply. If you have paid less than 12, you can take that amount that you have paid less than 12 from the general supply. If you have placed 12 exactly, then you neither owe or gain any energy tokens. That is the planning phase. If you have not obtained the first player token, then you can again take the energy you bid back into your general supply. For the person who got the first player token, they have to discard their energy token. Once the player screens are revealed, the first phase to be played is the research phase. There it will be checked on how many dice are face up in this phase. In this case, in this example, it's 4 dice. That means 3 cards will be revealed. It's always number of dice minus 1 cards that gets revealed. Before, within the planning phase, before the screens get revealed, there's always number of players minus 1 cards that already get revealed. So we start, in this case, with 3 players, we start with 2 cards. Now that there's 4 dice, a 3rd card will get revealed. Now the research phase does start. We check on which player has the highest die number in this phase. In this case, it's player green with his 5, so he gets to go first. He picks this cargo module. Then we check for the next highest number. In this case, it's player red with his 4. He picks this cockpit here. And then before player purple gets to go, because he only placed the 2, player green will get to go a second time because his 3 is higher than the 2. So he resolves his 3, and he could pick any of these cards that are laying here, either one of the standard modules that are always available or one of the advanced modules. He picks the last advanced module. That leaves player purple to go for one of the standard ones. Luckily, he already has one technology researched. he picks a cockpit as well. By the way, the colors here are, all the cards are color coded. The green ones are always the cockpits, blue ones are crew modules, crew compartments, purple is fuel tanks, and red are the engines. So this is the research phase of Rocket Rescue. And all the cards that are still in this area will then get discarded onto this pile. The next phase is the purchase phase. The players can here pick the amount of cubes that they have placed the number of die. So for example, here with a 4 you can pick up to 4 resources of one kind. Again, it will be checked on whoever has the highest die number, and this person gets to go first. In this case, it's player green with his 4, and he chooses to pick 4 carbon fiber cubes. Next, we have both players tied with a 2. Purple and red both placing a 2. Now that purple has the starting player token, he gets to go first because he breaks this tie. If player green had the starting player token, then the tie is resolved in clockwise order, meaning the second strongest player would be purple. So purple gets to go next and also picks yellow. Now player red, he desperately wanted yellow as well, but unfortunately there's only one left. He can still pick this, but does not get to pick a second one from the general supply, so he would lose out on 1 resource cube. For that reason, he opts to take 2 titanium cubes and places them into his supply. At any point during the game, you can trade 2 cubes of the same color for a cube of another color with the bank, like so. At the end of the purchase phase, the player who went first, in this case player green with his 4, gets to pick which of the 3 market areas gets fully refilled. In this case, because he has not a lot of blue, he decides to refill the aluminum cubes. The 2 other areas will get refilled up to the amount of players. That is in this case 3, so red stays the same and there's 2 additional cubes for the carbon fibers. And that is the purchase phase in Rocket Rescue. The next phase is the boarding phase. If the boarding phase is active, we check by seeing if there's any free crew space in any of the modules already built in the hangar. In this example here, we have this cockpit module here, indicated by this symbol, has 2 crew space. There's only 1 crew member in it yet, so that means there's 1 free crew space here. This crew compartment has 3 available crew space and only 2 inhabitants yet, so it also has 1 free crew space. So that means in this round there is boarding. If the boarding is not active, because there's no modules yet or because there's no free space, in this phase you can only collect or spend energy, but not use any of the effects listed up here. But since there is boarding now in this example, we check on who has the highest die number again in this phase, and then the effect, please refer to that table, can be selected. So if we go through this quickly, with a 1 or 2 you can only gain energy in this phase. With a 3 or a 4 you can place 1 crew member on a free slot and pay 1 energy token. With a 5 or a 6 you get to place immediately 2 crew members onto a module with free space or 2 modules with free space and pay 1 energy token for each crew member. So 2 in total. So in this example, red gets to go first with his 5 he can immediately place 2 crew members, and he picks this rocket. So the first one he places here, the second one he places here. Indicated by this player marker here, this is his own module. So he has to spend 1 energy token to the general supply. This module belongs to player purple, so he has to spend the other energy token and give it to player purple. And that is his turn. And then player green did not place any cube here, die here, so he skips that phase. And then player purple with his 3, he gets to place 1 crew member. Luckily there's still 1 free space. He places the crew member here and pays 1 energy token to player green. And if in any case there was no free space anymore during the boarding phase, players can place up to 1 and only 1 player crew member into the boarding terminal. If they already have a crew member in the boarding terminal, they don't get to place it here, and they will be added from the one, so from the left side to the right. And also, if there's in the next round, if there is free space, then these crew members can be placed into the modules from here, and in that order. The first one is the number 1, and that is the boarding phase of Rocket Rescue. In the last phase of Rocket Rescue, you can build your technologies that you researched by paying the amount of resources needed, and you can launch completed rockets onto those planets that are available here. Again, the turn order is resolved by the die number. The highest die number goes first, and the effect that you can make happen is indicated on this table here. A wrench symbol means you get 1 build action, the double wrench means double build or building twice, and the rocket symbol means 1 rocket launch action. If you have multiple actions available, you can do them in any sequence that you like. So in this example, purple with a 5 gets to go before red with a 4 and before green with his 2. So starting with purple with his 5, he gets a double build action and 1 rocket launch action. Because he doesn't have a lot of resources, he chooses to only build once and then launch a rocket. He will build this purple fuel tank module and has to pay the resource cost indicated on the bottom left, bottom right of the card. So that would mean 1 aluminum cube, 1 carbon fiber, and 2 titanium cubes. Now you see on the board there's 6 hangars divided by 3 space companies. And each company is color-coded. For example, the red one here, Project Hyperdrive, has 2 red hangars. And if you build there, that means you get a discount of 1 red resource cube, titanium cube. And the same goes for yellow or for blue. So in this case, a purple wants to build here with the red company and has to spend 1 red cube less. He pays resource cost needed and gets to build this module here. If, for example, if there wasn't any red cubes needed, then you would not get any discount, by the way. And now here you see, by building this, you gain 3 energy. So by building this, player purple will immediately receive 3 energy. You can put them into their supply. And with 1 player marker token, indicate that this module was built by that player. If the module was, for example, like this, a crew compartment or a cockpit or any module basically with crew space, then you get to place 1 crew member right away for free onto that module. And that is the building part. And now next for the launching part. In this case it's still Purple's turn. There is one completed rocket, the others are still missing some of the modules. A rocket can, by the way, only build up to 6 modules and needs to have at least one engine and one cockpit. The ones in the middle can be any kind. And now for launching the rocket, these are the available planets. It at first has to be checked on how many fuel tanks are there in the rocket. In this case, it's always the ones in purple. There's one fuel tank, meaning that the red Doom X cannot be flown to, because as you can see here, 2 fuel tanks are required. This is what this symbol here means. So on the left you always have the requirements for the planet, on the right you have the reward, and on the bottom here it's the required energy cost to fly to this planet. You can disregard the shields here, these are not used in the base game. So now, since there's one fuel tank, the space station that requires 0 fuel tank, and these 3 planets are available targets. Also, it has to be checked if there's any special modules required or special equipment required to go to a planet. I misplacing that here. So here this module has a satellite on it, meaning that it fulfills the requirement for this planet here. The 2 other ones, they need a rover special equipment, which unfortunately is not available here in this rocket. So player Purple has the option to fly to either this planet or this planet here, these 2. Because the reward is bigger for the #NoGas planet, he decides to go on this planet. Down here you can see the required energy cost. This is 9 energy. So from his supply he takes 9 energy, puts it back into the general supply, and is then therefore can take this card as a reward. Now here on this side, whoever you get 2 kinds of rewards. The first one is the command reward. Whoever launched the rocket will gain 2 additional crew members that he can immediately place on the planet. And then whoever has most rocket parts or modules within a rocket gets this construction reward and can place, in this example, another 1 crew member onto this planet. In this case, between red and purple, because this was purple as well, between red and purple there's a tie. And in case of a tie, this reward is divided by the amount of players involved in the tie and rounded up. So in this case, both players get to place 1 additional crew member onto the planet. So the planet gets placed with that player, and he gets the upper reward for launching the rocket. He also gets the construction reward, but so does red. So they get to place an additional member as well. And then all the crew members from the rocket also get saved onto this planet. After the successful launch, the rocket will autonomously return back to Earth, and in that process might get damaged. This is where the shield value comes into play. So this value here is the shield, or also called stability. What you do now is for each module, going from top to bottom, you check with a dice roll whether this module survives the return flight. So for example, you roll, and if you have the same number as here, the module survives. Or also if you have a lower number, the module does survive. If you roll higher than this number, than this stability number, then the module gets destroyed. And destroyed cards get put here on the discard pile, or if it's a standard module, it gets put back onto the standard module piles here. So yeah, let's finish this example here. With a 6, this gets destroyed. The player markers go back to the players. and this gets discarded. With the 4, this is also destroyed. And the last one with a 3 is also destroyed. So now, now this turn with the number 5 got resolved. Now it would be Red's turn with his 4, but unfortunately he does not have enough energy to actually use this number to do a launch. He can only build this module here and gain some energy and to maybe then launch it in a future turn. And then here with the 2, player green, he cannot do a launch anyways, but he could also build a module to board some crew members and then later do a launch. And yeah, so then after this is all done, players would set up their player screens again, change their die numbers to what value they would like, and a new round of Rocket Rescue would start. For the final scoring, which is started once a player has escaped with all the crew members onto a planet, the round is played to an end and the final scoring takes place. Now, for every crew member on a planet, that is 2 points, 2 victory points. Every victory point token that you received, and you receive these by these special modules. So for example, if on your rocket there was a rover needed to go to a planet, or in this case the satellite was needed to go on this place, and you supplied the module with the satellite, you receive a victory token for going there. If there's multiple satellites, all the players involved get a victory token. This is also worth 2 points. All the crew members still inside the boarding terminal or inside one of the rockets are valued 1 victory point, and if you still have some crew members here in the general area, then that's 0 points for those. And that's how you finally score the points. If there's a tie, then the player with most planets wins the game. If there's still a tie, then the player with most energy wins the game.